To be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business figure for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he's came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life.
Own your power and who you're from. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Wired to Differently show, the Wired to Differently experience. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Some of you, we're getting a lot of new follows here. Yes, I am Todd Saylor. I'm the author of the book, The Brand and the Attitudinal Disorder, Wired Differently. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today's Thursday, and today I want to talk to you about Achilles, or maybe some of you better known Achilles as Brad Pitt. I just had this inspiration a couple days ago on how to do some things a little differently on this show to shake it up a little bit. And this reoccurring video kept coming to my head of Brad Pitt fighting a much larger man in the movie Troy. Now, the movie 300, The Warriors of 300 is probably my all-time warrior movie. I think I got to start off with, if you're going to count Rocky as a warrior movie, I'm going to have to go with Rocky. I think you need to understand, though, that the movie Troy was mesmerizing to me. The movie 300 has mesmerized me. Matter of fact, when I travel all over and I speak, one of the first things I do is give every one of my crowds a war chant. And generally it comes from the movie 300, ahoo, ahoo, ahoo. But I got to tell you, I remember where I was sitting when I first saw Brad Pitt in the movie Troy. It was in a movie surround sound theater room I had in my house in Angola, Indiana. We had literally built this movie theater system, and it was like the state of the art. It was so much fun for the kids. We played air band or air guitar or Guitar World. We just had a lot of fun in this room. But the very first movie we put on to test the sound, to have a night with the family and the kids, was the movie Troy, and it had Brad Pitt in it. And I remember this scene when I saw it for the first time. It's probably almost 30 years old. I probably should have looked that up. But I thought, what can I teach people from this? What can I bring to people from this type of movie? What can be learned? I mean, it's great cinematography, great folklore. So the movie's based on a long time ago. I'm not going to pretend I know the years, but I think it's definitely AD. But the thing is that it's a Greek mythology, right? It's like about Greek heroes, Greek gods, Greek, all these things. Greek people had many, many gods. They had the god of water, the god of the sky, the god of everything, the god of love. They had a separate god for every little thing out there. And I think Achilles was kind of leaning towards the god of war in some regards. The story behind Achilles was that his mother was a powerful woman, and she loved her son so much that she wanted to create him so that he could not lose it. He would be impervious to pain, and nothing could ever stop him from a warrior perspective, fighting for his country and for his king. And so she took it upon herself to dip him in this river called, I don't know the name of the river, but to dip him in the river and to purify him, to make him impervious to death and pain. But as she dipped him into this water, she grabbed him by the heels, dipped him all the way in, covered all of his body, except for where she covered his heels, which meant that was his vulnerable point. Well, folklore tells us that he was an amazing, amazing warrior. I don't think he ever lost but once, but this final loss he had was that he had a weakness. And it was in a battle, and I believe an arrow was soaring through the air, maybe on fire or something, as we've seen in the movies. But as it arced through the air, there was only one place that Achilles was vulnerable, and it happened to be where his mother held him by the heels, dipped him into the water, pulled him out, and as he grown to be a full-fledged warrior, his only vulnerable spot was his Achilles heel. So therefore we get Achilles, and he has a weakness. And the arrow caught him just right in the heel, and it took his life. I don't know if it hobbled him and he bled out. I don't know how he died, but that ultimately was his weakness, Achilles. But before all that happened, Achilles had many epic battles. And in the movie Troy, we talk about that. We see it and we see what has come from it. And we all have our own weaknesses, right? We all have this ability to be strong in some areas and weak in others. But I really wanted to talk about this today to you. That where's your strengths? Where's your weaknesses? And I thought we could build on the movie Troy with Brad Pitt. Now, arguably, one of the most successful major motion screen actors the world has ever seen. Brad Pitt has made Fight Club and a lot of action hero type movies. And I don't want to disregard the fact that men of this world are built to be powerful. Men of this world are built to be warriors. Men of this world have been designed to be these type of inspirational tools. Now, it doesn't neglect that women can't be powerful and women can't be heroes in scenes. I love epic women warrior movies, but we can't deny the power of a man. We can't deny the power of what a man was designed for from the jump, right? And so when I kind of watch all this, I wonder, man, where does all this fit in life? Where does this whole empowerment, the strength, the power of a man, the power of leadership? Now, I'm trying to help you understand that this movie is to be enjoyed as a powerful movie, a powerful lesson of the way the world has been built from jump, the way the world is even being built now. Now, things are changing from power of mindset and acuteness and things of that nature for sure. And I do want you to understand that we're going to build on where our power really comes from. I'm going to actually show you this scene, and we're going to talk through it. We're going to talk about it. But I love the raw nature of what Achilles brings to the warrior aspect from a man's component. Can we just enjoy the fact that this is an epic man-warrior scene? I think I'm drawn to that. I think I'm drawn to the fact that the power is there, the power of this fun reenactment of what maybe could have happened back in the day. So I want you to understand that we don't know that Achilles was really a real person, but we do know that Troy existed, and we do know Sparta existed, and we know that men in power back then were fighting to the death on a regular basis. So what I've decided to do is take this epic man war scene, this violent, visceral component of the way the world was, and understand how it works in the world today. I don't think the world's changed. I don't think that the war mentality has changed. It's changed in just to a different way of combat, right? And part of what I'm supposed to do here is to inspire you, to motivate you, prepare you, coach you, train you up, right? To do war, if you will, on your own personal self, to make yourself a better person, to do war on your own self, to make sure that you're confronting the spiritual trainings and the things that God has called you to do. You have to do war against the world to follow God in this world, right? And I want you to understand that is a war scene in itself. And last but not least, if I'm training you up to be a warrior in the entrepreneurial mindset, a warrior to be in this world, to be profitable for your family, your friends, and your spouses, right? We do have to have a warrior mindset. And I can't wait to show you this scene because Brad Pitt epitomizes the ultimate warrior back in the day. Now, the reason I'm going to set this up is it's a long time ago. And men would fight head to head with swords and shields and knives and hatchets. And I mean, they would go bump to bump to bump to bump to bump. And whoever had the most men standing, or whoever ran off first, was the loser, but the most men standing was the winner. And I don't think that that's changed. I mean, last man standing, last person standing, last woman standing. The battle is on like Donkey Kong. But so here's what I'm going to do this morning. I'm going to play this scene from the movie Troy, Brad Pitt, and then I'm going to watch it, then we're going to talk about it, then we're going to break it down. So let's have some fun with this, right? But before we get to that, I want to give a shout out to the National Foam Party Day, June 15th. I don't know. Go to your backyard, do some foam party stuff. I want Elders Abuse Day. I want to bring that up. I'm dealing with parents that are getting way over the 80s, and we have to look out for the elderly. We have to look out for these people in this world. Global Wind Day. Go get yourself a windmill. Say a prayer for the birds. Magna Carta Day. This is in England where they became less powerful over us. Grateful for that. Let's see. Photography Day. Those of you out there taking photographs, I've got some great photographers that have helped me out. We need you. Nature needs you. Take good pictures of butterflies. And here's my favorite, National Smile Day. National Smile Day. And last but not least, National Nursing Assistance Day. These nursing assistants are the true warriors in this world. I am dealing with this in a massive way. I wanted to give them a shout out as the true warriors. I wanted you to understand that these nurses are working for pebbles. These nurses are taking care of our elderly. These nurses are taking care of the doctors and the nurses. These nursing attendants are really the heart and soul of this world and not getting paid for it. I want you to understand, in America here, we do have a great hospital system, a care network. We do have a lot of things going on here great. But I do feel as a father of a daughter who's went through this nursing assistance program, and as a leader and a son of a father who's being attended to from a nursing assistant, Barb, I want to just give you the shout out and tell you how proud I am of you and what you're doing for Colleen and my dad and all of you nursing assistants out there. You are the true warriors. You are the true warriors. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. You are doing battle every day, mentally, anxiety, the things that go on with caretaking with people that are losing their faculties and their minds, and they're disintegrating over time, and you're there to watch and love and care for them. So I wanted to give you a shout out. You are Achilles. But back to the movie, back to the set, back to the warrior mentality, back to what we're doing. Thank you, nurses, assistants, the true warriors. You are my Brad Pitt award for the day. Thank you very much. But here's what I got for you. Let me set this up. So here we are. We're in something 10 AD, 11 AD. I don't know what AD we're. It's after death, I believe. But these people are fighting. They're getting it on. They're like, who's going to be the king? Who's going to own this? Who's not going to own this? But it's a mythical process because Achilles is going to come to the rescue. And here's the thing about Achilles. Achilles is not quite available when the king needs him. The king needs Achilles because they've decided not to take all of the warriors head to head. 1,000 warriors versus 1,000 warriors head to head. We've decided as kings, these earthly kings, to take not only all of our 3,000-4,000 people head to head on a battle perspective. Why don't we just take your best versus our best? You bring your best warrior and we'll bring bad Brad Pitt. Bad Brad Pitt is nobody you want to mess with. Boagrius, though, on the other side of the fence is no deal. He's no joke either. So these kings are waging whose best will be the best, and we can save thousands of lives if we just agree to take our best versus your best. Think about that for a moment. This is an epic battle of kingdom for kingdom, all boiled down to one man versus thousands versus thousands. I think it makes a lot of sense. But are you willing to live with the wages of that war? Let's see what these kings say. Let's see how this works out, and then let's break this thing down.
This is my man.
Achilles!
Boagrius has this effect on many heroes.
Careful who you insult, old king. King, Achilles is not with the army.
Where is he?
I sent a boy to look for him.
Perhaps we should have our war tomorrow when you're better rested. I should have you whipped for your impudence.
Perhaps you should fight him.
Achilles. Achilles. Look at the men's faces. You can save hundreds of them. You can end this war with a swing of your sword. Think how many songs they'll sing in your honor. Let them go home to their wives.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
Of all the warlords loved by the gods, I hate him the most.
We need him, my king.
For now. Is there no one else? Is there no one else? Who are you, soldier?
Achilles, son of Peleus.
Achilles. I'll remember the name. The ruler of Thessaly carries this scepter. Give it to your king.
He's not my king.
Can you believe that? Can you feel that scene? I got to tell you, I've watched it probably 3-4 times as I prepared to talk to you about this video. And so I thought to myself, what could we glean from this? What can we glean from Brad Pitt? What is it that's in this movie that from a leadership role could make sense for us? And so I thought, well, let's just have some fun and let's just break this down, right? And so when first thing I saw this movie, I thought to myself, one, always be ready. Brad Pitt in this movie as Achilles was not even available, right? But when you think that he's not available, is he ready? The bottom line is he was a paid warrior. He was a person of character that they could always have to count on. This was not unusual probably back then for them. They needed a warrior to go stump for them. They needed a person to go out and lead for them. They needed somebody that could be this person that they could count on, right? And as a company or as a person, as a leader in your organization or your mindset or your world, I wanted you to first, the number one of these 5 points I wanted to break this down to is always be ready. Now, when we look at this, Brad Pitt wasn't ready. Like he wasn't ready is the way it seemed, right? Right here, the king calls for Achilles, and he's not ready. He's not there. Where are we at? Oagrius. Then he doesn't show up. Right? Oagrius shows up. He's larger than life. He calls for Achilles.
Achilles!
Achilles. Yo, Achilles.
Agrius has this effect on many heroes.
Oh, Agrius has scared many away.
Insult, old king.
Ooh. Where is Achilles?
Achilles is not with the army.
Not with the army.
I sent a boy to look for
Here's
him.
the deal. He is ready, though. The bottom line is when he called for him, he was so confident. He was actually, if you watch the movie, he was doing some other things that maybe warriors do in their off time. He wasn't warned. The leader didn't tell him, hey, we're going to have a war today and you're going to have to be ready. It just kind of, I think, happened. And here he comes. But the bottom line is, although it seemed like he wasn't ready, all of us as Achilles, we're ready at any time to do our craft. We're ready at any time to do our artistry. We're ready at any time to fight the battle for the good, right? And here's the next thing that I want you to understand is always understand the balance of power. Balance of power. Number two, the balance of power. The king right here is balance.
Perhaps you should have a war tomorrow when you're better rested. I should have you whipped for your impudence.
I should have you whipped for your impudence. This is one of the things when I watch this, I'm like, it just struck me. Like, I want you to understand in our world, we are the most powerful we can be in ourself, our mind and our soul and our mindset and all those things. But at the end of the day, if we're always ready, we're always ready, we're going to be able to be our best. But right here, as Achilles or Brad Pitt is entering the battlefield, he hears this noise from his king. And the noise from his king is, I should have you whipped for your impudence. Here is a man that's going to go battle for the masses of his people. He's going to go to the battle for the masses of his kingdom, and he has to represent his king, an authority to him and his mindset and his world and his way, right? And does the king say, thank you for finally showing, go out there and do your very best? What does the king say to him? The king none other than says, thank you for coming. But no, he says, I should have you whipped for your impudence. This is a king of power right here that never lasts. And you can tell why right there, because the power of the king is the power only serving himself. I want you to think about who your leader is in your company and how you lead your company. And then I want you to think about who your king is. Number two, I want you to understand the power, right? So this leader, this king has laid him out as a minion, has laid him out as less than average. He wants to have him whipped for his impudence, but yet he wants him to fight for the kingdom and save all of these warriors and his monarchy. What is the balance of power?
Perhaps you should fight.
Who are you following?
Achilles.
Who are you leading? And what is your balance of power?
Look at the men's faces. You can save hundreds of them. You can end this war with a swing of your sword. Think how many songs they'll sing in your honor. And then go home to their wives.
What is the greater good? When you're asked to do battle, when you're asked to go to war, when you're asked to have confrontation, when you're asked to lead your piece or take a decision, what is the greater good? What is the balance of power? Understand the balance of power. We knew the king was not good in this regard, but he had to make a decision. And sometimes the decision is a bad decision or a worse decision. In this situation, he had to just make the bad decision. The worst decision would have been to have all the rest of them perish. The worst decision would have had all of those people and their families and friends go away. So he had to make that decision. Achilles understood the balance of power. He knew his king was dodgery, but he knew that the balance of power was in his grasp. How can he do this and handle? One, always be ready. Two, the balance of greater good if he's decided. And three, understanding the power at hand.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
Imagine a king that would fight his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight? I think even Achilles understood that the power lied within the king, but he also understood that the secret power lied within him. I want you to understand that this king was not good. This king's balance of power was not good. But Achilles, in this regard, if it's you, if it's me that I'm trying to put you in this motion picture as Brad Pitt, you realize, one, always be ready. Two, the balance of the greater good, and understand the power. The power was, the best power had to lie with his own king and the best thing he could do for himself. But understand one more deeper situation. Achilles' power lied within his own confidence. I want you to understand that when Achilles had to go to battle against this man, Achilles had to understand.
All the warlords loved by the gods. I hate him the most.
Can you imagine being hated by your own king? Can you imagine being hated by your own leader? Can you imagine leading other people and hating them? The balance of power is at play. The greater good is at play. Achilles was ready. He made the right decision. He understood the balance of power. He didn't compromise his morals, but yet the greater good. I want you to understand the balance of power. I want you to understand the power that we have. Understand, one, that this king's power was not good, but I want you to understand that Achilles, Brad Pitt, or you needs to understand your craft, your power, and how you can use it. Number three, understand the power of your own good.
Need him, my king. For now.
So Brad Pitt right here knows his power. He knows what he has inside. He knows there's no way that anyone can best him at his craft. He's done the check down. Always be ready. The balance of the greater good. Understand the power of the king, and understanding right now his own power. His own power was confidence. His own power was this idea that he cannot be defeated. His own power that he knew as he weighed himself against a man twice his size, exactly how he was going to wage war. Many of us are waging war against companies 3 times, 12 times, even thousands and thousand times bigger than us, but we still win and can win these wars. We still understand that we can be Achilles. We still understand that we can be Brad Pitt, just by the simple understanding that, number 4, we need to be your best in mind and attitude. Brad Pitt does not go to war athletically, physically, but more mentally and attitudinally. The larger man is for shot from a distance because he's not sure what to do because of the agileness. He shot a little closer range. Finally, Brad Pitt, his ultimate confidence, decides exactly how to strike. He decides exactly how to put his opponent on the other defense. He puts himself in a position where he can't be hurt, he can't be touched. Even if his strike misses, he can come back around for another assault. Think about that in your life. Think about the way things measure up with you. You have to, 1, understand that you're always ready. Number 2, the balance of the greater good. Why are you doing the things the way you're doing? 3, understanding the power of your leader or your ability to lead or the king above you, and understand your personal power. Brad Pitt's got it going on here. He knows exactly his power. He knows exactly the weakness of the larger man. He understands exactly what he has to get done if he wants his kingdom to be whole and his friends and families to have what they need against a more dominant and more opposing, not well-to-do opponent. As Brad Pitt strikes, over. Battle has been won. Now, Brad Pitt does something interesting here. And I don't, this is an advanced move for a warrior like Brad Pitt, but I want you to understand, even in your mind, when you're dealing in a warrior mentality, you're dealing in a business situation, I'm not telling you to go out and I'm not telling you to do this, but I want you to have a warrior's mindset. This was a craft back then. This was a mindset of winning, right? We need a mindset of winning. We don't go into things as losing. But here's what Brad Pitt does as Achilles at the end of this war. He has just conquered an entire country with one swipe of the knife. He's representing his family, your family, our family. We have just won the battle. But here's what Brad Pitt does at the very end of it.
Is there no one else? Is there no one else?
Is there no one else? I think that we need to understand that our confidence in our business life, our confidence in our family defensive life, our partner's defensive life, I think that we need to be measured in all that we do. But I also want you to understand that you must learn to channel some inner warrior. And this inner warrior right here is saying, is there no one else? Was he really your best? I feel like I'm ready for the test. I want to insert my dominance and my confidence in this world, in this product, in this defense, right? I want to insert myself with my own market dominating position. I want to make sure that you have been thoroughly understood and schooled. This is a powerful move in this movie for Brad Pitt, a powerful movie for Achilles, a powerful move for the defense of his kingdom. Now, Todd, why are you being so serious about it? Well, because I do think that sometimes we have to be serious about things. Sometimes life is about life and death. Sometimes the fact that you win a deal or lose a deal can set your company, your family, your finances, your world into financial ruin just by the mere failure of one deal. And I never took a deal lightly. I never took anything lightly. I always looked at things as the most important thing for me in my life, for my family, my friends, and my companies. And that's how Achilles looked at it. Now, listen, I know some of you are going to say, well, you shouldn't be out there murdering people. He didn't murder anybody. This was war, right? This is a metaphor of what's going on in your life. And I want you to see it because there is war being waged out there for the deal, for your family, for the acquisition. I mean, we don't get up every morning as wired differently people to lose, right? I want you to have one, to always be ready. Two, I want you to understand the balance of the greater good. Three, I want you to understand the power of your king or your leader. And I want you to understand your power of your swiftness, your agility, your ability to wage and battle war with even the largest of foes because of four, your mindset and your attitude. Brad Pitt is demonstrating it right here, the mindset and the attitude. But last but not least, I want to close with this.
Achilles, son of Peleus. Achilles. I'll remember the name. The ruler of Thessaly carries this scepter. Give it to your king.
He's not my king.
So this is how we end this with Achilles. He's not my king, but I'm the son of Peleus. I want you to understand when anybody has put you in this position of life, to one, always be ready. Two, to balance the greater good. Three, to understand the power of your king and your power of yourself. And four, be your best mind and attitude. Know those things. But at the very end, I want you to own your power and who you're from. When Achilles asked who he is, he says, I'm Achilles. I'm the son of Peleus. And that is not my king, right? And so I want you to understand that when we go through life and we do these things, and this little lesson I wanted to share with you this morning is that who is your king? Who is your leader? Who are you leading, right? How are you going to wage battle? Are you going to be doing the greater good? Are you going to be ready? Do you understand your own true power? And at the end of the day, do you know who you're from? I find it uniquely interesting that at the end of this epic scene, the king that was just defeated wanted to know who he was. And Achilles said who he was by name, but then he said who he was by father. And then he denounced the worldly king. Could it be that Brad Pitt got it? Could it be that the writers of this movie got it? Or could it be they just didn't know what they were doing? I don't know. All I know is that I'm Todd Saylor, son of Tom Saylor, and I do follow my King, our God, right? I know who my God is. I know who I'm from. I know I'm ready to teach and coach for you. I know my powers. I know the greater good of this message and every greater good of the message I give on a regular basis every day, right? I know that I'm at my best every day, the best possible fighting weight I can be, so I can be ready for that speech. I can be ready for that coaching, that mentorship, ready for the pacer meeting, ready for the decisions that need to come upon us as a leader. I want you to understand that I know who I am and where my power comes from. And I want to challenge that with you this morning. Who are you? Who are you from? And who is your King? What a great day. I know we went a little longer. I said it was going to go 20 minutes, but I thought this would be fun. I thought it would be fun, and I think it was a great, great class. Got some video in there. Let me talk to you. Let me help you understand exactly what's going on right here. The thing is, I'm trying to build you up. I'm trying to help you understand how important your role is in your family and the people around you's life. You're called through these shows, and if you're following me, to be wired differently. You're allowed to look at things differently. You're allowed to do a show differently. You're allowed to wake up differently. You're allowed to wear a cross. You're allowed to wear a shirt that's a little form-fitting today. You're allowed to do things a little different because people are expecting you to be different. We need to stand out in a crowd. We need to be more like Brad Pitt. We need to be a little more aggressive like Brad Pitt, maybe in this, being willing to defend people and actually fight to the death for somebody, somehow, some way, someday. I know it's epic, but I'm epic. And I believe in my heart, mind, and soul that I'm here to defend God. I'm here to put on God in this world. I'm here to be Brad Pitt. I know I don't look like him, but in the movie, I know I can be that guy. I want to take care of you. I want to be the right person for you. I want to study for you so you don't have to do so much of it. I want to put you in your market dominating position. I want to put you in a great leadership position. I want you to understand those things, and I want you to understand your will be done. I didn't expect it to go this long. I thought it was a great day, a great show, and we got much to do. So I want you guys to get after it. Have a great day, and remember, man, get to toddsaylor.com. toddsaylor.com. I love you. I love you.